So, 10 commandments this week. It's hands in the shot again. Got some bobbed wire effect, which is basically just one wire twisted over another, which is what bobbed wire is, just with sharp nasty bits on it. That's about a metre. That's the code. I have got some scale model scenery fencing somewhere, which will one day be pressed into service with the bobbed wire possibly. I also bought his pack of factory signage. It is folded in half, but it's an absolute bugger to get in and out of the pack. So, and to really punish myself, someone mentioned about northeast Atlanta, in the network southeast seating on Tim Surf's or Tim Scales site. Not the best picture in the world, but they're a red mesh curved seat. I have since found that Pico do one not stocked by many people though, but I thought I'd take the plunge and buy the brass etched variant just for a challenge. That's better if I do it freehand. There we go. You can see the patterning. I thought it was going to be like an etched mesh all the way through, but as you can see it's solid, but it's got the patterning on it. So that'll be fun. There's a tiny little edge each end. The camera picks it up. You've got to fold and then roll it round to that sort of shape. And then you have to buy your own wire to make the legs and either solder it on or super glue it, epoxy, whatever takes your fancy. I think I'm going to have a go at soldering it once I get the wire anyway, but I'm not in a hurry because obviously I haven't got any platforms or station to put it on yet. So while I was on there, I also wanted, I zoomed in, some of their trunking. Or cable troughing, I think is the correct term, but they call it trunking as well, which consists of 4 moulds with the detailing, a couple of lids, and was a T-joint and an elbow, and you can see there's a little detail there. If I get it run the right way, it'll help, won't it? See the little detail there where there's a lid missing with cabling there, so if you just put a little bit of black wash in or something, that'll show that up, and then the lids are on the end of the sprue. So I'll chop one off. So what I do is, obviously they're flat square, is I just give a little file, like a 45-degree chamfer on the edge. You can't really see it. But what that does, rather than when you butt them up, it gives you that little lid gap. If you don't do that, then it's a very tight, thin slot. Doesn't show up quite as well. There's a simple little method. But what I've done, or purchased a long while ago, I wanted these for obviously the detailing pieces. But I got some 3mm square which is almost a pretty much perfect match. It's only a little bit of weathering and then you just carry on. A lot cheaper than buying that little lot, which they say is approximately 4 foot, but they're only, I think, 10¼ inches each thing. So, but what you can do with this is just use a saw blade at an angle or a blunt knife, which will cut a pattern in. As you can see, I've used the hollow tubing here. So with the aid of a little bit of wire, even though it's the wrong colour, we can simulate a signal cable coming out of the trunking. Obviously if you carefully notch this, cut through, you can save the little piece to keep as a lid and lay it on the side. That butts up to your detail, so you can use those and save a lot of money on them by buying this, which is, I think these are 500mm long, and they got a pack of 100. And I think they were about 11 quid. Oh, it's another box. It's another knife. What is it going to be old? Well, it's our Casualty Bay PTAs, which are let's have a look. In need of a bit of surgery. There should be a quick wagon workshop fix, so hopefully there's not too much wrong with them. I've actually picked up another bargain load, the end one with the buffer, as these ran in sets originally, so that's why they don't have buffers. Someone put a buy it now for 3 for $14.99. I'm like, what? I'm having them. So should have enough for 2 rakes now, or two smallish rakes, so we can have one going and one coming back with empties, I guess. But these are obviously sort of cheap enough to mess around with a little bit of weathering, and hopefully make a better job of it than the last 2 that I got. But we've got some of the coal sector. The Yeoman, which I think I've got 2 of those now. Ooh, it's got something stuck in there because that's heavy. That one's not too bad, I think that's all there. I know one's got a set of wheels missing, but I have ordered a cheap Lima tanker from Hatton's, which is cheaper to buy that and take the wheels off than it is to buy the wheels from Peter Spares, because he's a bit of a Dick Turpin, isn't he? So some of these marks, they just look like price labels that have been peeled off, so hopefully a soak. We'll have a quick evaluation and get back to you. Well, they're sort of pretty much as described and as expected really from the photographs. Most of them, obviously I can disconnect the bogies and move them around to make the sets up that I haven't got to do anything with, and then just the damaged wheel ones I can just chop off it, like that one. Obviously I can pop that one off and swap it with another one, make this a good wagon without any more work really. Basically I think most of them just need chucking in a bucket of water and leaving for 24 hours just to soften up any of the glues that are in them and give them a scrape out. Obviously this one's had like a sandy paint mix and ballast or something stuck in it at some stage, so if it's been PVA that should soften it. I can scrape most of it off. It looks a bit dark, well, it's got some paint in it and all sorts. This one's had cardboard, possibly a packing. Oh, I just had to run downstairs because my woman turned up with my order of couplings to repair these. So yeah, I can take the bodies off like that, stick them in water and leave them to soak. I don't know what sort of glue that is, some of it scratches off, plastery, God knows what. Even got the weights in these ones, which my other ones haven't got, but I've got some of them wheel weights. And yeah, I think there's a couple wheels missing, but most of them is just these broken couplings, which is an easy rectification we'll cover on the wagon workshop. And I got another one of those little toolboxes because I was so impressed with them for the money, and they're their ideal size for my Revel paint tins and the Humbrol and Airfix ones, so got another one for those. Well, The PTAs have arrived, more to the collection. I'm sure that made all the difference. So they did have a couple of little tail lights glued to the back. I think they'd obviously put them on the wrong wind and then took them off, and a little bit of melted glue. I have scraped them and cleaned them up as best I can and sanded down. There's sort of not really much I can do with that. I mean, it's going to be butted up against another wagon, isn't it, so you can't see it. Back end's not too bad actually on that one. But, two of them had little lamps on them. One was all melted anyway, so I just picked it off with my knife and removed the other one. So what we will do with these, is these are the end wagon, is put one of my battery holders in there and maybe a false bottom or a load, and attach one of my flashing lights to it, so that we can have a end of train lamp on the end of the train.